I wanted to talk about color. This diagram we're looking at is one of the typical diagrams you see that show the boundaries of colors seen by humans. So this big kind of tongue-shaped thing is the representation of color um, visible by humans and defined by the CIE International Commission on Illumination. We're the standards body that kind of keep the world's color sense on track. This is their model. CIE Lab Color is what they call this. It's the native color space of Photoshop and the Macintosh. And so this is everything we can see. These other diagrams are Cmyk for a Euro scale coded type of Cmyk. So this blue line shows the portion of visible light that can be reproduced with Cmyk printing on coded stock in Europe. The sRgb shows us the sRgb color space, which is supposedly a half worn out computer monitor, the internet standard. And then Adobe Rgb is more of a graphic arts production favorite color space. It's a little larger than sRgb. It's larger than Cmyk by a little bit. And so those are color spaces. That means that everything doesn't always reproduce the same range of color, and you have to take that into account when you're working with printing. So I'm going to look here at a picture of Simon. He has a color book in his hand, and I put a bar of pure saturated spectrum colors down the side just as an indicator of what's going on. Okay, so when you go to image and you go to mode, you could go to Cmyk color. This is what's usually recommended. Printer or someone will say, always convert your images to Cmyk color, and a lot of people don't think anything more than that. They just hit the Cmyk button, and there you go. What a lot of people don't realize is that there are a whole bunch of variations on Cmyk. They aren't all created equal. So if we go up here to View, and you look in Proof Setup here, and also Proof Colors, you can turn proofing of colors on and off. You can look at your Proof Setup. I'm going to go into Custom. I could go to Working Plates. I could look at the type of separation that would go onto a plate under different conditions, but in this case I'm just going to go to Custom. And the Custom gives me a chooser here, and I could say, well, what do I want to look at? And if I was going to different print markets, I might choose these photograph things, Japan color standards. I'm going to use US sheet fed coded here. I'm going to click on that one, and you can preview this, so you can do an A/B test. You can see what happens when you convert to Cmyk for US sheet fed coded stock. Now what if I go to US sheet fed uncoded? It becomes much duller. What if I go to web uncoded, like a lower budget web job, US newsprint. So this is like if you're going to the Inlander or something, printed on US newsprint. That's not very heartening, but that gives you an idea. I also have Simulate Paper Color turned on here. Turn on Preview, turn off Simulate Paper Color, which does a lot to muck up the color. But it gives you an idea of what to expect, that your color is not going to be as beautiful as you hoped. I'm going to leave the Simulate off for a second here. Click OK. So we're looking at what would be newsprint, and Command Y up here, Proof Colors, will let us see this is what happens on newsprint. Now I created a couple compensations here. I said, what if I made an adjustment layer that boosted up saturation a bit? And what if I made a curves layer that boosted contrast a bit? So now it's kind of garish if I was going to look at it on monitor, but when I go back to the preview of the newsprint proof, it doesn't look too bad. It almost impersonates the original. Now if I went back here to my proof setup, turn the Cmyk Color on, it makes the effect even more important because it brings a little bit more life back into the newsprint version of this. So this is a way to investigate how your print job is going to work, and instead of just sitting there and taking a beating every time you convert to CMYK for newsprint, you might talk with your printer, and especially if you do recurring jobs, do some trial and error and try making a little bit of compensation in your image to try to overcome the deficiencies in converting down to newsprint and see if that works. So that's a look at the proofing setup and the ability to proof colors in Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. So pretty handy tools for the print designer.